Hello, friends. We are still in that, I'm going to call it tricky land of trying to stay cool but wanting to move our bodies, right? In summer, we're like, we want to be active, we want to move, and yet if we're too active and move too much, we build and accumulate too much heat, and then that ends up being an imbalance and showing up in various ways in our body. So let's see if we can't get some movement in without building too much heat today. So find yourself with a long spine. Taking a moment to feel that earth underneath you. Maybe imagining that taproot we often work with, growing down from your tailbone and sinking down deep into the earth to hold you there. And then also, right, we want that expansion away from the earth. So the two go together. The more we root down, the more we rise up. And you can play with that. It's not a 100%, don't get aggressive, right? No pushing. But as I gently reach down, that taproot, my tailbone, my buttocks bones, right? As I gently reach down into the earth, we start to feel that rise of the spine. And then find the softness with all of that. And without pushing too much with the breath here, just letting the breath starting to find its natural rhythm. Do ensure that the belly is soft and the belly is moving gently on the breath. Because of the breath, it's not trying to move the breath is moving it. And then go ahead and open the eyes. We're going to start with a few rounds of Shetali breath, or Shetali. I've heard it pronounced both ways. And that's the one where we roll our tongue. We inhale through our straw, and then we exhale out of the nose. Now, that is a certain gene some of us have and some of us don't. So if you cannot roll your tongue, you're just going to make a really small O with your lips. And breathe in through that kind of a straw, if that makes sense. So all of us will breathe in through the mouth and out through the nose. You can close your eyes now that you've seen what's going on. Go ahead and close those eyes and let's exhale so we're in the same place, but then you'll find your own rhythm right off the bat. We're just going to do the first one together. Inhale through your straw, either your tongue or your lips. And then we soften the jaw and the tongue and we exhale through the nose. And then continue, do a few rounds of those. If it feels natural to add a pause before, after the inhale or after the exhale or both or whatever that is, right? Just to, again, start to find your breath. And let's do about 2 more of those. And then just go back to your regular rhythm and we'll meet there. And then all inhales and exhales will be through the nose. And you can go ahead and you can open those eyes. Maybe just a few moments of awareness. Maybe you feel like you have a little bit of coolness in the mouth and the nose. Some of us might feel a temperature change in our body. Go ahead and bring those arms out. And we're going to move in and out of a few twists. You can be cross-legged if you are, as a matter of fact. Maybe put your other shin in front as we move here. But I'm going to ask that you not use your arms. So we'll start to move the arms into their traditional, not traditional, into the way we often twist. But don't use your arms, right? Instead, use your breath to bring you in just as far as you can without force. And then we'll go to the other side. And we're going to inhale the arms overhead. So that's the basic of what we're going to do. Inhale those arms up. Exhaling to the right. You'll inhale the arms up, and again, you can start to find your own rhythm, and then you'll exhale to the left. And again, it's not that the arms can't be in the same position. We're just not pulling with the arms today. That softer version of our practice, where there's no competition with anyone else or ourselves for that matter, which, when we got that heat and that pitta in us, it's often those high standards we have on ourselves that start to really get us into that competition mode. So if we're using the breath more than anything else to move us in and out of the twist, remembering it's not about how many reps of something you do. I am not digging on gyms, but we are not in a gym right now. We are not doing any kind of HIIT workout or any such thing. And then go ahead and do one more cycle. We started on the right, so we'll end on the left. And then to finish, when you get there, no rush, you'll inhale your arms up one more time. And then this time, we're going to do something a little different. So let's all meet with our arms overhead. We're going to make fists with our thumbs sticking out. Close your eyes, bring your thumbs together to touch. The elbows can bend for that, by the way. Soft shoulders. And then I'd like you to imagine that your thumbs have this beautiful golden light. And you're going to draw a circle around yourself. So let your thumbs come apart, reach out, and come down just like you would the arms of a sun salutation. But imagining that you're drawing a golden circle around yourself. Bring your hands together on your lap and pause. And just notice the effects of the practice thus far. And inhale, open those eyes. And then let's go ahead and come onto hands and knees. You can have blocks at the front of your mat. That way, if you do want to use them, we are going to do some lunges in a little bit. They'll be there for you. Feel free to pad the knees, any of the usual suspects, right? And if you've got that heat really dominant these days, and it's like, I don't need a blanket, I don't need props, I'm going to push myself, I have this and this and this is my goal. Let's drop all goals. Let's set an intention of trying to be a little softer and not push today. So we're going to curl our toes under today. We move into cow, letting the sternum move away from the pelvis. And then when you exhale, uncurl the toes and pull the belly up, rounding the spine up. Now we're going to add a little piece into that. So let's do that one more time with the feet, so we get the feet down. Inhale, because that's different to how I usually teach it. Exhale, pull the belly up and round up. So keeping all of that going, we're going to add a breath. The inhale, the nose, you inhale, through the nose. And this time when you exhale, I want you to kind of like the sound of a ha, or like you're fogging up a mirror, out of your mouth as you round up. Let's do a few rounds of these. Again, start to find your own rhythm. If you start to move really fast or get really myopic, if you start to push or strain or be competitive, try to let go of that, come back to that intention of softening. Let's do one or two. We're all on different rhythms. Come back to breathing everything through the nose and a neutral spine. Now you're going to go ahead and you're going to reach the right leg back, and you can curl the toes under today. We're going to slide that leg over to the left. And if it feels okay with your neck, you're going to turn and look back. It's not so much that you're trying to see your foot or your heel or anything. It's just that side stretch. Now, us pitta types, we like sensation. We like big, strong sensation kind of things, right? So letting go of that a little bit and not going for the sensation, letting the breath move you into the side bend and finding a sense of softness today. I'm going to say that a lot, by the way. And are you already done with this? You're ready for the other side. Are you already doing that since you're at home in your own practice? Come back through center and bring that right knee down. Come back to neutral, right? And again, notice if there are tendencies to be like already pushing the left leg back, right? That's pushing. I know it well, folks. I am a card-carrying pitta. That left heel back, and then we're going to slide it over to the right. Maybe turning and looking over that right shoulder any amount. And again, instead of pushing into it or looking for the biggest stretch, the biggest sensation, let it just be paused here, right? You are in a side bend. Your spine is in a side bend. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Now soften and use the breath to expand the left side body, to help that spine move into a lateral flexion. And that's the breath. That's not muscles. Very, very different. And again, notice if you're already kind of done and you're ready to move to the next thing. And can you just be here? Be here in this pose. Come back through center. Bring the knee down. Child's pose for a little wrist break. Knees wide. Big toes touch version. Buttocks down. Bring the elbows down and the forehead down. And take 3 breaths. Actually, let's take 4. First one, go into the low back and try to expand the low back gently. It's the breath. It's not your muscles. The next breath, you're going to bring into your middle rib cage area, the mid back, I could say. And then the third, bring that up into the upper back, moving up towards the neck. And the fourth one, bring it into the low back, then the mid back, then the upper back, filling all the way up. And then go ahead and stretch those arms out in front of you, planting your palms down. Come up onto your tentopods for a few moments. That's your finger pads, right? So we're on 10 finger pads. Lifting our palms up, our wrists, our forearms, our upper arms. And then find that movement of the upper outer arm rotating down and into the face. Now, really slowly and gently bring the palms back down, but keep a lot of the weight in the finger pads. Don't put it all in the palm of the hands. That's hard on the wrists, yeah? Inhale up to hands and knees. Keep that work of the arms. You just built downward dog arms. Curl your toes under and exhale back into downward dog. Now, some people refer to this as walking your dog. I like to call it pedaling, right? But where you're bending one knee and straightening the other any amount and just kind of pedal through a couple of times if that feels like it's giving you some space. Find that breath, keep that breath going, and then come back to both heels, pushing down. That doesn't mean your legs have to be straight. As a matter of fact, on my when I'm trying to stay cool, I bend my knees, right? I try to keep soft joints. I try to check into my elbows to make sure I'm not hyperextending. I check into my shoulders, which might be overworking, my jaw, my tongue. And bring down the knees, uncurl the toes. Go ahead and start to bend the elbows and bring the forearms down, and then you'll end up back in a downward dog. Arms can slide forward or back or wherever they need to be comfortable here. And this time we have the knees together version, right? Where we're resting our ribs on our thighs. And every time we exhale, we're letting the thighs kind of massage up into our internal organs. Now, straighten those arms out. Lift the forehead and walk over to the right, reaching both hands forward and away. So I still have my hands are shoulder distance or a little wider, depending on my shoulder girdle. I bring my forehead back towards the ground, or at least I soften the neck.
And gently rooting down through those finger pads and palms, reaching forward as my buttocks moves back. Breathe into the left side body. And lift the forehead and come on up. I talked about how when we're trying to release any heat, pitta, it gathers in the abdomen, right? So doing a lot of side stretching and some twists in order to release any of that internal heat that might be accumulating. Hands are shoulder distance, forehead softening towards or to the ground, palms forward and down, but my beautiful, heated, myopic, possibly myopic, pitta friends, right? My competitive pushers, whatever you might be doing, soften. Using the breath more than muscular action all day today. Come back through center. We're going to come up in downward dog again. So find your arms before you lift the hips, and then go ahead and make your way back into your downward facing dog. And again, instead of the biggest sensationalist downward dog you've ever done before at any point in time, what about finding a softer version today? Right? Inhale the right leg up into three-legged dog. And then we're going to bring that right foot forward between the hands. You know you can bring your knees down to do that as well. I'm going to bring in blocks to give myself a little bit of height. Right? Short arms and boobs and various things. This just makes it a little easier for me to find my long spine. My left knee is down, my toes are uncurled, and I'm just pausing right here for a moment, right? My pitta friends, or if you've got, I mean, it's not just if you're pitta, right? You might be a kapha with imbalance towards pitta right now. So just if that heat, if you feel that heat in you, that kind of pressure, pushing, competitive nature, and you're already up. You're like, yeah, I got it, I'm in, right? Again, can you take a few moments here? There is sensation to be had here. It's not super sensational, but we're still working with the long spine, finding stability. Left psoas is opening. And now we're going to go to the next piece, but we're going to go slowly. Ha, 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 ha. Hands on the right thigh. Push into the right thigh, not to throw the shoulders back, but to pull the frontal hip points up. Pause here. And again, just because you think you know where we're going, pause. Feel this one out. What's here, right now? Where's your breath? Can your breath help you open the psoas? Can the breath help you find patience, non-pushing? Inhale, reach those arms out and up if you so desire. Today we're going to grab elbow points and we're going to gently pull the elbow points up with the intention of lengthening the side waist. Many of us will notice the low back lengthens when we do that as well. And it's not a big deal for the next time, but just notice where your forearms are, which one you have further towards the front of your mat, and that way we can change it possibly next time. And for one breath, reach the arms up, but keep your eyes on the horizon. That's another balancer for that heat. Bring those hands down. We're going to lift your left foot, right? We're going to bring the left heel down. I'm going to walk my right foot over to the middle of the mat. And we're coming to Warrior Two, just so you know. So go ahead and you're going to inhale, windmill that left arm, and come up into Warrior Two. And pause. So instead of your, deepest bend, your strongest pushing out in the arms, the various things, I know, and there are times for that, for sure, right? We want to have practices where we are more rigorous. That's not today. So I've been turning my palms up and bending my elbows up a little bit just to keep this upper body soft and to remind myself not to be pushing so much. I can still choose to turn the head and look over the right fingertips, but again, I'm going to keep my eyes on the horizon all day today. Now from there, bring that left hand down, reach that right arm up. Instead of looking up, turn your head the same way as the chest-ish and look at the horizon. And then remind you of that one all day, if you'll go with me, if you don't mind. Just explore, experiment, right? Then you know what these practices do. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do something kind of funky and fun. You're going to keep your upper body where it is and straighten that front leg. Turn both your toes towards the device and then actually turn them towards what was the back of our mat. So you end up in Trikonasana. Forearm on the leg, or
You know, again, I'm going to encourage you not to be like dropping down into the deepest thing you ever did today, right? And I'm keeping my eyes forward, same direction as my chest in this, on the horizon. One more pose here, triangle. Reach your left fingertips up. I don't even know if I'm mirroring anymore. I don't think I am. So I might look opposite of you. And then straighten the front leg, we'll call it. And come into triangle, Trikonasana. Again, keep your eyes forward if you don't mind. No turning head down or up. If you need to adjust for your neck, of course you do. Otherwise, keep your eyes on the horizon today. And then we're going to come all the way up. We're going to turn our toes forward. Hands on the hips. Elbows bend back a little bit, long spine. And then go ahead and fold forward into a forward fold. Right? Hands come down. And you can continue to fold, or you can stay up, especially if you have low back things going on or anything like that. Right? You can bend the knees a little bit so your joints are a little softer. And instead of trying to find the deepest forward fold you've ever done, maybe looking for one where you can find softness and just explore this pose in that slightly different way compared to how you might normally work here. Practice. You'll notice I'm keeping a longer spine. You do not have to do that. I have something going on in my upper back that I'm kind of protecting. It's a sensitivity I'm trying to make sure doesn't worsen. And then from here, we're actually just going to go back to what was the front of our mat. So you'll turn your left heel back, your right toes forward, and walk around to the front of the mat, the original front, the OF. We're going to move the blocks and step back to downward facing dog. Now, part of my mental game is remembering the sequence we just did on the other side. Inhale the left leg into the air behind you and bring it forward between the hands. Right knee is going to come down, uncurl the toes, possibly moving those blocks in, and pausing here and really just taking a few moments. So now you kind of know what's going to happen, but don't go forward in your mind. Be right here, right now, and let that be your practice. All right, focus on where the spine is, trying to lengthen the spine as much as you can, and just starting to say hello, right psoas, hello hippies in general. And now we're going to put our hands onto our left thigh, and we're going to push into that left thigh, starting to lift the frontal hip points up and pausing here in this new place. Our eyes are going to stay on the horizon, out in front of us. You can remember just a little gentle scissor action again. Don't get all aggressive on me when I say that. And if you'd like to, bring the arms up. Now I tend to always put my left forearm in front. I noticed that on the last one when I said which one's in front. So I'm going to put my right forearm in front this time, just as a little even Steven, right? I'm going to pull my elbow flesh up to lengthen out of my side waist. For one inhale, reach those arms up, but keep your eyes on the horizon. Bringing the hands down to set up for that warrior two. So walk your left foot over a little bit, curl the right toes under and lift the knee, and drop the right heel down. And then go ahead, and that right arm's going to windmill you up. And I am not mirroring, and I'm facing the other way, but that is okay. We'll be okay together. You still got my voice through my microphone. I'm going to turn my palms up and bend my elbows a little bit as a reminder to melt my upper body and not work so hard. I might turn my head and look over those left fingers, keeping my eyes on the horizon line. And noticing what's happening in my body in this pose right here, right now. Bring that right hand down, reach that left arm up and move into warrior two, of a reverse warrior, but instead of looking up, turn your head and look the same way as the chest on the horizon. And then our neck will be set for the next couple of poses here. And then from there, we're going to do that thing where we straighten our front leg, our left leg. Keep your upper body the same. Turn your toes forward and then turn them out to the other side of the mat, bending that right knee, right forearm on right leg. And here we are in side angle. I like that transition. Christina Kuhn, I believe her name is. I did an online class with her and we did that. Ooh, I liked it. Keep your eyes on the horizon. Triangle. I'm going to reach my left fingertips up, my top fingers straightening my right leg, right fingertips down. And again, don't go to the deepest triangle you ever did and try to look for the biggest sensation. Keep your eyes forward on the horizon. Keep the shoulders soft. And just work from a place today where you can keep that non-pushing. We're going to inhale all the way up. We're going to add a forward fold in again, slightly different. Turn your toes towards the long edge of the mat, maybe even pigeon toe a little if you're tight in the hamstrings. This time, interlace your hands behind you. You know if that's not right for your shoulders, not to do that, right? Bend the knees a little bit on the way in, soft joints, right? If you're feeling sensation in the elbows, soften your elbows a little bit, fold forward, and maybe those knuckles start to reach up to the sky. So that's the demonstration. Now I'm going to go back to the one with my hands under my chest and my chest reaching forward, or shoulders, because I need to keep myself from going into that rounded position as much to protect a pattern that's happening in my back right now. So your work might be folded forward with the hands interlaced behind the back, reaching up to the sky. Mine is not today. So I try to show you what you're going on and still honor my practice. That took me a long time to figure out as a teacher, so I don't hurt my body. And then we're going to start to slowly turn back to what was the original front. And as I turn my toes that way, I walk my hands that way, I move the blocks, and I step back in a downward facing dog. Let's do one more thing here for our more active part, and then we'll do a couple of cool downs. Inhale the right leg into the air behind you, three-legged dog. Bring it forward. Of course, knees could come down. We're going to drop the knee because we don't need the extra heat today, the extra juice. And if you're like, I do, do you? Do you really? Bring that left hand underneath your left shoulder, right hand on the right thigh. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And again, before you use the arms to push too much here, abdomen and breath are going to bring you in as deeply as they can. You're going to stay looking forward at the horizon instead of looking up today. And, you know, I'm not going to take away reaching that right arm up, but you might just stay here and use that right hand. Now put a little pressure of that right hand into that right thigh. A little bit. And again, no looking up today. If you can manage to stay with me here, keep looking at the horizon. You don't need as big of a workout as you think you do during this hot heat. Not to keep balance, right? Release the hand down. Step back however you want to your downward facing dog. I think we Americans, we like sensation and we think we have to work out and we're worried about what our body looks like in a bikini or all the various things. But is that creating balance, a holistic balance for health for our body? Inhale the left leg up. I have found through time that no, it doesn't do that. I used to do a lot of that, by the way. So I'm not condemning anybody by any means. Right hand under right shoulder, left hand on the left thigh. Inhale, lengthen, and then I get irritable and turning in. And again, you're going to keep your eyes forward, same way as the chest on the horizon. I'm not going to take that left arm away from you, but maybe instead of working that left arm up and being like, but this is the pose, this is where I feel the most. What if you just gently push into that left leg, right? And let the breath do more of the twisting than the muscles today. And it might not be the deepest twist you ever did, and that is okay. It's not the day for the deepest. Bring that left hand down, and this time keep the right knee down, bring the left leg back. You can do either version of your child's pose, knees wide or legs in, so you get that internal massage. I'm going to boost my forehead up just a little bit so that I'm not quite so rounded, because again, for my upper back today, that's not a wise choice for me. But you could be with your forehead down, whatever works best for you. You might let your hips sway just a little bit from side to side. And then you're going to start to walk yourself up. Now you're still facing this way. I'm going to turn this way so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to let my hips swish off to the left.
I'm going to move my blanket so I'm not so uneven. And I'm going to let my legs separate here and try to come up to seated. Now, if I need to, this is a place where I could put a blanket underneath that left hip. And then I'm going to turn my belly just a little bit towards that left knee, my front knee. And this time I am mirroring, right? And again, don't think big sensation. Don't think deepest pose. When you go in, you might start to fold out over that leg. Feel free to use props if that's helpful. Oops, sorry, I just hit my microphone. Come to forearms, forearms on props, right on blocks, forehead on blocks, forehead on floor. Find a place where you're not trying to go into the deepest place you've ever been. And I'm actually going to come up even a little bit out of that because, again, this is not, my back's not loving this pose today either. So I can still do it and get some benefits without going into that upper back for myself. It's kind of right around my shoulder blade area. What's happening in your body? Use your hands today to walk yourself up. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to keep the left leg where it is and extend the right leg out. We got one more piece to this puzzle. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn ourselves towards the straight leg, Shavasana, right? Head of knee pose. And maybe start to fold over. And instead of like trying to go to the deepest and reach the hand outside and pull against the stuff, right? There are days for that. Maybe today is just a little swivel twist towards that right thigh and then a softening down in. Using props or whatever it is you need. If it feels really intense in that right knee, bend the right knee a little bit. Really intense in the hamstring, you could still bend the right knee a little bit. Find that breath, not pushing, no competition. No, this is what it's usually like for me. This is where I was yesterday. This is what I got to do. I got to do this much today. Inhale, bring that chest up, and then we're going to switch to the other side. So to switch to the other side, let's just go ahead and swivel our legs over to the left. And they just kind of hoot next to each other. Sit on something if you need to. I'm going to get nice and tall as I try to drop that left hip down. It doesn't come to the ground by any means. And maybe folding over. And again, I'm going to keep myself higher just to protect that upper back area. You might go a little further and support yourself on block props, forearms, forehead, any of the various bits and pieces of your body. We'll use our hands to push the floor away. Keeping the right leg where it is, we'll extend the left leg out and readjust a little if we need to. And again, without going into Janu Shirshasana, right? It's a soft turning and folding over. Consider bending that left knee if there's intensity in the left leg. And again, I'm going to stay up higher on this side. It's the one, it's turning this way particularly for me today. So I'm saying that for two reasons. One, you don't have to look like me. If you want to go down further or whatever, just don't push. That's my one request. Two, right, I'm trying my darndest to show y'all when not, what am I trying to say? Like what my practice is, right? I'm trying to honor that even when I'm teaching you all things that you can do. I'm trying to honor my body and really be good to it. And so I'm trying to teach that at the same time by example. Inhale and reach that chest forward and come on up. We're going to put those feet on the ground. Feel free to have something standing by if you want anything for support. I'm going to suggest that we butterfly our legs out with the props, the blocks underneath them. And I'll show that in case you don't know it, right? But we'll actually first lay down, come down onto your back. I'm ahead of myself here. And once you get onto your back for your Shavasana, I'm going to suggest Supta Baddha Konasana, supine bound ankle. It's the one where we bring the soles of our feet together. I like to let my legs go to where they naturally go to today at this time. I lift them up a few inches and I bring my blocks under. I like my blocks at angles, so I have a flat edge of a block, not like the flat part of my block against my legs, and not just that sharp angle of an edge. For me, that makes a big difference in how comfortable this is and how long I can stay here. We're not going to stay here for a long time. And again, I'm not in my full stretch. It's not sensational in that way. And that is what we're going for today. Anytime we do a restorative pose, you're not looking for big sensation. Right? If it's so big the body can't relax, we're not doing the work of the practice of the nervous system. And the upper body's in Shavasana. Neutral neck and spine to the best of your ability. Pardon me. Soft shoulders and jaw and tongue, and really check into your inner groin here, right? I like to feel the connection of the blocks, the props into my legs, and how my legs are fully supported. And, even just think of them, whatever, your word for it is, just softening down into those blocks and just, finally, inner groin get to have a break. Let's try and take 5 to 8 breaths, which is 1 minute. So you may have a little less breath, a little more. That part doesn't matter. It's not a goal. It's not a competition. I'm in charge of time. You're in charge of relaxation. So to come out of this, friends, first just come back to the breath. And before you lift the legs, I'm going to request that your arms help the legs so that those poor inner groin don't then have to, after finally relaxing potentially, to lift the weight of the legs. So I like to separate my feet just a little bit. I use my hands. I push my legs up. I walk my feet out wide and let the knees lean in and pause for a moment there. So here's a counter pose, right? We were just in external rotation, beautiful movement of the legs. Now here we are, knees falling in a gentle internal rotation. And then go ahead and separate your feet and your knees. Be cautious of the blocks as you roll to one side. Push the ground away. Come on up to an upright posture. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Inhale. As you bow your head in, just a suggestion. Again, I'm just going on what I know from my own body, from the clients I've worked with, and observation, and, what I've learned through the years from teachers. Maybe setting an intention that for the rest of the day, taking pauses, remembering to just breathe instead of trying to use all muscles to do anything and everything, not pushing and being competitive, moving away from those hot, sharp qualities. Namaste. Be well, friends. May you be well. It's my wish for you.